Hello out there, and welcome to the Apteros Daily Market Insight. It is April 8th, 2024. Let's get into it here. So, taking a look at our recap from April 5th, it was a pretty straightforward session for us. We had a clear DMI and a clear understanding of what we were looking at. Essentially, what we were defining early in the DMI is that this zone here was kind of choppy and back and forth with no real clarity in that area, right? So, not the best locations overall. However, if we started to see this market clear out that zone, we were definitely seeing a lot more opportunity to the upside or to the downside if those areas cleared out, right? So that's what we were paying attention to overall in the DMI. So scenario one was kind of staying inside. 2 and 3 were kind of breakouts on either side of this dissonant zone. So that's what we were essentially prepping. And man, what a great DMI overall, reading and understanding the nature of what was going on in the ES here, because we ended up seeing the move coming out early from the open and driving up straight from our bull zone up right to our bear zone in that dissonant zone. And then, of course, seeing the bears react from there, coming right back down and hitting our neutral target once and twice, right? So a lot of opportunity early in the session to kind of follow along with just the bias within these levels here. And then, of course, we get the blast up through, come back down. And this really was the best trade opportunity that we were looking for with that breakout scenario outside of this kind of dissident zone, right? So once we cleared that out, this break scenario from that area, right around 11 o'clock ish, and just a blast, coming out of that zone up into nearly our bear zone there, where we started to see that market kind of come back, and we've rotated from there ever since. So just a fabulous DMI, really covering the complete basis of the early part of the session, and then of course nailing it all the way up pretty much into about 1 o'clock there on that session with just the behavior of what's going on in that ES. So now taking a look at what we got going on today, it's kind of a similar picture of what we were looking at on Friday, but there's not dissonance really here, as much as it's just a very rotational market at this point. We have a couple of areas that we have to pay attention to here. So this is our main bull area here, and that's our main bull line in the sand. So the idea is that inflections from this lower edge, looking for continuations up into this first neutral area here, and then of course continuation possibly up into that bearish area, right? So that's kind of the handling the bullish side of things from the lower edges here. Now, what's interesting about coming from that lower edge is we do have a zone here that is generally neutral in nature, but it has a little bit more of a bearish skew to it. Because essentially right now we're still inside of prior value that we've built from our last trading session. And if we remain in there, then the expectation is that we rotate back down, rotate back up, and that's kind of like the main first scenario. Okay, so scenario one is staying inside of this zone here from this neutral and bearish reference here and this bullish reference here, and that would be kind of the overall layout for that early rotational factor. If we break outside of that, we start to see the bulls possibly just take over this market coming into the open, then we would see something like this kind of coming up and out, and then we hit this upper bear line in the sand. Now, the bear line in the sand is a higher time frame kind of rotational factor, right? So we still have a little bit more balance, a little bit more rotational area in here. So if we do break to the upside, the expectation from this line in the sand is that we possibly hold. So in scenario two, where we break out, that would be our overall destination right here, and then we'd be monitoring this line in the sand for the bearishness or the breakout to the upside. If we get a break to the upside, obviously continuation is further along up into that neutral zone. And that's kind of how we're handling the game plan as we continue to monitor what's going on to the upside. So just a quick recap here. Scenario one so far is kind of remaining inside of these zones here and remaining in that balance zone that we built out from prior value from Friday. If we break out from there, excuse me. So if we break out from there, then we're looking at, heading up into a bear line in the sand area, a higher time frame type of balance here that we'll be paying attention to. And this will kind of be the opportunity. Heading up into this is the main target. Then from there, you have to monitor this line in the sand for bearishness initially, and then bullishness if it breaks down completely, and then we get a move up to there. Okay, so that's our general recap right now. And of course, the downside is an option. If we hold, up in this area, we push down through here, and we start to see something like that, we have a lot of open space and things kind of clear out to the downside before we hit our next neutral target. So our next neutral target area is down in here, and that would be kind of what we'd be expecting from a bearish move. So if a bearish move took place here today, first target and then main target down below here, kind of stretch target a little bit before that. All right, so that is the overall game plan for today. Trade well, mind your risk, and let's have a wonderful trading day.